They said empires were forged by kings born into gold and silk. But on the frozen steppes of Mongolia, a starving boy named Temüjin rose from the snow with nothing except hunger, loss, and an unbreakable will. He was a nobody, discarded and left for dead. This is the story of how the world was reshaped from Horseback, the untold story of the boy who would become the storm. After his father was poisoned by a rival tribe, Temüjin's family was cast out, abandoned by their own people to perish in the unforgiving wilderness. They starved, they froze, they huddled together against the biting wind, with nothing but a torn tent between them and certain death. They were supposed to die. But the steppe does not forgive weakness, and Temüjin learned a brutal lesson. Survival is earned through pain, memory, and an unrelenting resolve to see the next sunrise. He would not just survive. He would conquer the very world that tried to break him. While other leaders ruled through fear and demanded loyalty based on bloodlines, Temüjin did the unthinkable. He saw past social status and privilege. He raised men by merit, not birthright. In his war camp, a slave could rise to become a general. A humble shepherd could command 1,000 warriors. He forged a new kind of brotherhood, one built on trust and skill, not noble lineage. For the first time, loyalty became more powerful than blood, and this revolutionary idea would become the bedrock of his future empire. In the year 1206, a great gathering, a Kurultai, was called. The scattered and warring tribes of the steppe came together as one, and in a thunder of countless hooves and roaring cheers that shook the very earth, they bestowed a new name upon Temüjin. He was no longer just a clan leader. He was Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. The world had just gained its greatest storm, and the wind was beginning to howl his name across the continents. The Mongol Horde wasn't just an army. It was a perfect war machine, an extension of the steppe itself. The Mongol horsemen moved like spirits across the plains. Each warrior rode with a string of horses, seamlessly switching mounts mid-charge to maintain their relentless pace. They could travel for days without stopping, living off the land and the blood of their steeds. Their discipline was absolute, forged in the harshest conditions imaginable. Their composite bows could send arrows whistling through the air with lethal accuracy. And sometimes the most terrifying thing about them was their silence as they descended upon an unsuspecting enemy. Across Asia and into Europe, great cities became whispers on the wind. Mighty fortresses burned to the ground. Entire kingdoms that had stood for centuries collapsed in a matter of weeks. Villages vanished so completely from the landscape that later travelers doubted they ever existed. But this was not mindless chaos. It was strategy. It was calculated, psychological warfare. Genghis Khan perfected the art of controlled terror, making sure the story of one city's fall was enough to make the next 10 surrender without a fight. Yet, beneath the terror and the conquest, something remarkable happened. The Mongol Empire, forged in brutality, created an unprecedented era of connection. Trade flourished under the protection of the Khan's law. The legendary Silk Road, once a patchwork of dangerous trails, was reopened and made safe. Medicine, culture, revolutionary technologies like gunpowder and the printing press, and radical new ideas passed freely from east to west. The world was stitched together under a single, vast empire. It was a brutal empire, yes, but a connected one. Behind the mask of the world conqueror, Genghis Khan carried ghosts. He was a man built from scars. The brother he was forced to execute in his youth. The friends lost to betrayal and war. The haunting memory of his own children starving beside him in the snows of his childhood. The world saw a relentless conqueror, a force of nature. But the man himself was haunted by the price of his own ascent, forever bound to the losses that forged his unbreakable will. Even at the absolute height of his power, with an empire stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the doorstep of Europe, he refused to rest. There's a saying attributed to him, "A man who stops moving is already dead." And so he rode, leading his final campaign into mountains shrouded in mist, into lands with no names on any map. He rode into the unknown. And there, something happened that history was never allowed to record. The official accounts are vague, the details deliberately obscured, leaving a final, tantalizing mystery. His body was returned in absolute silence. The funeral procession was a phantom, its soldiers ordered to kill every person and animal who witnessed their journey, sealing the secret with blood. A forest was planted over his final resting place, the earth flattened, and the river diverted to hide it forever. No grave, no stone, no monument. Only the wind knows where the great Khan rests. His end, like his beginning, is shrouded in the mists of legend. History tells us the Mongol Empire eventually fractured and fell. But the truth is far more unsettling and far more profound. The Horde did not vanish. It became the world. The vast trade networks they established became the blueprint for modern global commerce. Their systems of governance, their postal service, their military tactics, all were absorbed and adapted by the nations that followed. And the bloodline? Genetic studies show that millions of people alive today are his direct descendants. The empire built on horseback never really ended. It simply changed its shape. Listen to the wind. You may still hear hooves. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories from history. See you next time.